I love Floyd. Me and Floyd are friends. We get on. It's a good job that he didn't fight me, though, because he might not have had the career that he did. But
when it comes to the sweet science, we all know a knockout or two puts a fighter on the map. But where some may lack the ability in the punch department, they more than often prevail in others.
We can see a guy and know he's special. But it's what he does with that that let us know how special.
I love that moment, Barry, where he made him miss, and then he's looking out into the crowd to see where it landed.
And even looking back at the various talented fighters throughout the generations, it's always been the ones that carry that unique style that never let us forget.
The strength and the ability and the accuracy and the speed.
Reminiscing all the way back to those Ollie days of low hands and lively feet, right up until today with the likes of Loma and Floyd, bringing a whole new perspective to the meaning hit and don't get hit. We see for ourselves how fighting styles have changed and evolved over the decades to become superior versions of their origins.
Well, it's like he's punching and he's already moving before the punch lands.
So if you're just passing through, why not give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of our future content, as we take a look at some of boxing's most slickest fighters to enter the sport.
Some guys seem to be forgetting and thinking that I'm a nice guy. I am nice, but I'm awful crucial with these hands.
With the end of 2020 drawing to a near end, it's safe to say one man in particular still manages to float around the mouths of the boxing public. The 6'9" switch-hitting heavyweight that just simply doesn't know how to quit.
Introducing the Gypsy King, Tyson Fury.
Fury's style has been one that's often troubled everyone he's stepped into the ring with. And after proving he can punch after all, it's gotta be said it leaves little to no hope for anyone that tries to find a weakness.
Look at that reaction to Fury. Made him miss with everything, then clubs him with the body shot. That's that variety and that skill set, that ability, that unorthodox movement and that natural fluidity.
The only way to beat me is nail me to the canvas. And if you don't do that, you've lost. Simple.
Another Brit that often gets mentioned, as Billy Joe Saunders has been renowned for his incredible feet and angles that he's used unforgettably to school David Lemieux back in 2017.
Great shot from Saunders.
And Lemieux just chased shadows all night.
A hands-down southpaw style that fares to be entirely opposite in comparison to the common hands-held high orthodox approach, and also complemented by a swift jab, makes Saunders' boxing ability one of the slickest in the game today.
A motivated Billy Joe, a fresh Billy Joe, a fit Billy Joe, is a dangerous, dangerous fighter for both divisions.
But although the talented middleweight appeared to be one to look out for in the near future, his mischievous side outside of the ring seemed to only set him back in terms of progression. As we're all aware, the matchup with Alvarez would have certainly been the making of him if he were to pull off the win.
And still, WBO middleweight champion of the world.
Speaking of southpaws, blast from the past to see one of boxing's most entertaining figures and one who wrote the book on hands-down finesse.
And he does have this way of throwing other punches from crazy angles.
Still had enough to land that left hook. And look how heavily he goes down. They were hard punches.
Naseem was a perfect example of a fighter whose style echoed throughout the generations, as his dance-like movement and unorthodox punches often raised a few eyebrows.
Looking back now, he was an exciting fighter. He brought boxing right up to the forefront. There were great times. I mean, we were packing out Sheffield Arena and stadiums and everywhere. Everybody loved him.
And though his flashy, cocky demeanor was sometimes frowned upon by some, his boxing IQ and talent managed to gain him multiple world titles and a #1 spot as BoxRec's best British featherweight of all time.
I was too strong, too fast, and too good, and I'm world champ.
Another one of Britain's finest, as Josh Kelly brings us some standout eye-catching moments on his travels to the big leagues.
Kelly stood right in front of Whitfield with his hands down, turning to left foot.
Travelling up with a left hook in.
And just like the Prince, the hands-down slick nature of Kelly is yet to fail to gain the attention of the public also. Winning medals in the Olympics and European Games has helped gain valuable experience for the young prospect, but being only 10 fights in and yet to receive a real test makes us wonder, will the style of Kelly fare well when finally stepping up the competition?
Naturally talented fighter I've worked with is Josh Kelly. And he can do everything as competently as anyone at his level at the moment.
Floyd's career has been one of the most respected in the history of the sport. Yet despite his flawless record of 50 wins and no losses, his unbeatable style still doesn't get the credit it rightfully deserves.
Am I wrong for saying that? I'm the best? Don't it also show?
With a brash, outspoken nature perceiving him as cocky and arrogant at most, it seemed Floyd's persona only made us anxious to see him finally eat that awaited mouthful of humble pie in the form of a defeat.
Will this guy ever lose? Do you think he will ever lose?
The only person that's going to beat Floyd Mayweather is Floyd Mayweather himself.
Yet even looking back to those pretty boy days where he was more than often susceptible for punishment, the elusive and freakishly responsive gifts Floyd possessed always managed to guide him to a clean victory come the 12th.
Well, he puts you in a place where he's so defensive and elusive, and you steady punching, and you keep swinging, and you see him looking at you.
Alongside Floyd, we have the pound-for-pound king of more recent times, the Ukrainian wizard that simply glides his way to victory each and every time.
The timing is impeccable from Lomachenko. The way he moves his feet in and out is something that we've never seen before, and it's special.
Demonstrating the highest level of footwork, punch accuracy, and creativity that's been seen in the sport for a long time.
That level of skill where he can control an opponent and pretty much do whatever he wants to do at any given time, I've seen that before. But the way he's done it, I haven't really seen that before.
Vasily's ability to fight offensively whilst maintaining perfect defense has always been a sight for sore eyes. Though with an unfortunate loss to Lopez in more recent times, now begs the question, what's next for Loma? How can we miss out Loma's cruiserweight companion, another southpaw to add to the list, and similar to Vasiliy, Usyk's footwork, angles, and all-around variation makes him one tough man to beat.
There's a reason he's one of the pound-for-pound best in the world. Any of the big heavyweights have to be very, very careful.
After his dominance throughout the Super Series put his skills in the spotlight, the recent move to heavyweight to get the Joshua fight could certainly throw a spanner in the works and upset the odds. Probably known as one of the best defensive boxers next to Floyd, Pernell Whitaker's movement was certainly one of the most unique ever displayed in a ring, as his ability to hit and pivot off at angles whilst moving his head out of range was simply one of a kind.
Pernell did not come out here looking for a knockout. He came out just taking what his man gave him, and his man gave him openings for counter punches, and that's what he did.
Holding the longest unified lightweight championship reign in history certainly places him at the pinnacle amongst elite defensive fighters. And after giving the King of Mexico a hard time back in the early years, it'd be criminal to label him otherwise.
He could have been the author of the sweet science in some ways. When they coined that phrase, that moniker, the old timers would say he's standing right in front of you, couldn't hit him in the backside with a handful of buckshot.
Like Floyd and Whitaker, Tevin Farmer's ability to counter-react to his opponent's offense is very similar, as the man from Philly is often able to utilize the style to his advantage, out-moving and outgunning his man in chess-like fashion.
Tevin has an enormous amount of talent, and I believe that he hasn't really touched the surface yet.
But with 5 losses now on his record, it certainly makes things difficult for him to gain the respect he truly deserves, especially after making a comeback from what seemed to be a catastrophic, life-changing event that shocked everyone.
I shot 1 week and I was back in the gym the next week. They thought I wouldn't be back. I'm gonna win the title the same year.
That's your right hand that got it right? That's your lead hand too.
Last on our list, the legend himself, the man who at middleweight shocked the world on endless occasions,
I don't give a care who they bring to me. You are welcome to come get you some. Whoever wants some can come get some. They know what to do.
However, it wasn't just Roy's performances at middleweight that went down in the history books, but his incredible leap all the way through to heavyweight, raising the bar for all whom followed closely behind.
Predictions of those who thought that Roy Jones couldn't possibly last 12 rounds in the ring with a man who outweighs him by this margin proved empty and false.
Unlike most low-handed styled fighters, Roy's athleticism and reflexes enabled him to have a huge advantage amongst his opponents, and accompanied by very responsive feet, the need to pinpoint and execute seemed to always be pretty effortless for the most part.
The animals don't run. The animals don't make excuses. The animals don't cry. They fight, they win, or they die.